Hey, how's it going? This is Melinda and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to be discussing records that were very hard to find for my vinyl collection, but that I do have. These were the stubborn records, the ones that I just couldn't find for the longest time, always hunted for, but I did not go to Discogs or eBay. These were truly found out in the wild, just that amazing feeling that we all get when we're flipping through the records and we come across one that we had been looking for forever. So I'm going to be showing the ones that were the hardest to find out of my vinyl collection. Before I do that though, as you can see in the background, I've got some Miles Davis records, and that is in honor of our dear vinyl community member Steve Carlson. He puts on a wonderful video every single Sunday morning showing records, telling us the history of the bands, playing wonderful clips of the songs so we know what the sound of the album is. He is a tremendous and beloved member of our vinyl community, and he suffered a great loss this past week. Thankfully, he and his wife and his cat are safe. But unfortunately, he lived in Michigan where a dam broke and there was some floods, and his basement where he did his vinyl videos every single week filled up with 7 feet of water, destroying his vinyl collection, his CDs, his books, baseball cards, a lot of childhood memories, and just a lot of treasures gone. And my heart just breaks for him. I cannot imagine how that must feel. But just know that the vinyl community has your back. We love you, just tremendous respect for you, and we're going to help you in every way we can. And we are just so thankful you are safe. And anyway, I just wanted to point that out because my heart is really heavy for the loss that he endured this past week. And now I'll go ahead and move on and show you a record. This is one I've been looking for and had no success finding. This is Black Sabbath Volume 4. It's a tremendous record, and a couple weeks ago I said I had been looking for it. A really great guy in our vinyl community who, you know, he's not just a vinyl member, he does a lot of different videos. Almost Human, his name is Ralph, his channel's Almost Human, and he does really great Cheap Trick album reviews, Kiss reviews. He is a heavy metal and rock and roll guy, and he also loves the Beatles, but he does all kinds of really interesting videos. He does have an amazing vinyl collection, and he pulls out his vinyl and shows it. So, you know, I'm blown away by his vinyl collection, but, you know, he does a lot of reviews and just a lot of really cool videos. So check out Almost Human. And Ralph sent this my way because he saw my video and knew I had wanted one. This one is on the Warner Brothers label, and it is a newer press. I think from, I'm not really sure what year this one came out, but it's on 180 gram vinyl. And it is a beautiful sounding record. It sounds absolutely phenomenal. It's killer. And I wasn't extremely familiar with this album. I knew Paranoid and Master of Reality, but I wasn't as familiar with this one. But once again, it's another really great record by Black Sabbath. I really love the opening track, Wheels of Confusion. I don't know how Black Sabbath fans felt about Changes when it came out, but I really love it. It's got a very simple melody, and I love the way it's sung. The harmonies are really good. I love how it's, you know, goes from something heavy and very heavy guitar to a beautiful 70s ballad. I really do like that. Also, I love the song Supernaut. It's very heavy. There are a lot of great tracks on here. I love this picture, this one of Ozzy. So thank you so much, Ralph, for giving me this beautiful record. I really appreciate it, and I have been enjoying it. It's really a great album. And now I want to show you the 45 that really inspired this video, what got me thinking about it. It was a record, a 45 that I'd been looking for. As you all know, I have a jukebox. This is something that I had been wanting for my jukebox, and I was never able to find. The other day, once record stores opened, I was able to go in what's called a consumer's mall. It's basically an antique store, but there is a booth that has a lot of 45s and a lot of records, all for $2.50 each. The 45s are $1 each. So I was looking through that the other day and came across a record I'd really been wanting. So this was very exciting for me. It is Blue Oyster Cult's Don't Fear the Reaper. That is a record that I had been wanting for my jukebox for such a long time. So it was about the second or third record when I was flipping through I found. I was so excited about it. And I just want to point this out. It came in a cover. It says Lee's Records and Tapes from Tulsa, Oklahoma. I don't know if they're still in business. I like to think that that's where this record came from, but you know, who knows. But I was so excited to find that 45. I also found one, I never see Pink Floyd 45s, and this one is for money. So I thought that one was a really cool one to find. You Can't Always Get What You Want by the Rolling Stones. Again, these were just $1, and I absolutely love that song. It's so cool. This one was special to me. It's called Go Your Own Way by Fleetwood Mac. But what really I think is so cool about this one is the B-side is Silver Springs. And I really love that song, and it's not on Rumors. So I love having the 45 of that. Here's another one that's very near and dear to my heart. Melissa by the Allman Brothers. Melissa is my daughter. She was named after this song. So to find a beautiful copy of the 45 was very exciting for me. And I just think this one is really cool too. I just love the artwork. It's in such pristine condition. Is Duran Duran's Rio. I love that song. I love the album. It has Hungry Like the Wolf was the biggest hit off that album. I love it. It really defines the 80s sound in a good way, and I really love that one. So I thought that was a very cool single to find. And now let me go ahead and go on with the records that eluded me for so long, but I found. Let me just start off with this one. This is Paul McCartney's it's Wingspan, Hits and History, and it's a 4 LP set. It is very commonly found on CD, very hard to find on vinyl, and thankfully I went into a record store one day and there it was. And not cheap, I did pay a little bit for it, but very happy to have. Here is the, I'll just show you the labels in case you've never seen it on vinyl. Just a really cool, that is one of them, and then here is another vinyl because they're different colors. And it's the greatest hits of Paul McCartney and also the Wings greatest hits. So it's just a huge collection of wonderful Paul McCartney songs, and I was absolutely thrilled when I finally found that one. This is one that I found about 6 months ago, around a little bit before Christmas or so, and I was just digging through the Paul McCartney records, not expecting to find this. This is Paul McCartney's Kisses on the bottom. It was still sealed. My guess is he got it when it came out and it never sold and it's just sat there. And so I was very thrilled to find that. It is hard to find records like Kisses on the Bottom or Flaming Pie or a lot of the later Paul McCartney albums. They're just so hard to find. Thankfully, they are getting reissued. I don't know when this one will be reissued, but I was thrilled to find a sealed copy of this one when I did. Here's another one that I looked for a very long time because I wanted a first press of it, and I found it. It is the Stooges Funhouse. It's just a very cool record, and here it is on this Elektra label. And I was absolutely stoked to find this one, a first press, but it took me forever to find it, and I absolutely love it. So good. Here's another one that took me forever to find, Etta James, At Last. And I did see this from time to time, but never at a price I wanted to pay. One time I found it for $150. Another time it was $125. So I passed on those. Finally found one for $50 and it plays great. And I just love having this. I know you can get a reissue, but for some reason this is one of those I wanted a first press of, and I was thrilled to find that one. Here is another one, a common record that I usually find trashed and not in good shape at all. And so when I found this, I was absolutely stoked. It was Still in Shrink. It is Johnny Cash's At Folsom Prison. I absolutely love this album. I love his personality in it. I love his singing. I love the way he connects with people. And to be able to find this one in the condition it's in was just a tremendous find for me. It is on the 2i Columbia label. And it was in absolutely spectacular condition. It's almost like the previous owner opened it, maybe played it once, I don't know, just never played it again. It's like having a brand new album, and I looked for that one over and over again. So I was absolutely thrilled to find one in such beautiful shape. Here's another one. This one came out in 1990. It is ZZ Top's Recycler. This for an album is hard to find. This came out after Afterburner. You know, they had Eliminator back in the early 80s. And then they put out Afterburner, and this one came out in 1990 after that. My Heads in Mississippi was the hit. It was not as successful as the previous albums, but it was something that I always thought, man, I would love to run across this one. And sure enough, I was in Indianapolis, Indiana, just digging through some records at a record store and came across this, and it was just like, wow. I was so glad, and it was a good price. It wasn't too expensive, so I was able to buy that one, and I'm very happy to own it. This is probably the one I think I looked for the most. It wasn't like something I had to have. It wasn't a top grail, but it was just something I wanted to have in my collection, and I saw that other people would get it from time to time, but I never ran into it, ever. And finally last summer I was digging through some records in the W section, and I came across this. I just couldn't believe it. Winger. This is the debut album, and I was so excited to find it. It came out back in 1989. So again, not a time when vinyl was selling very well. People were buying cassettes and CDs. So to find a vinyl copy of Winger's debut album was absolutely so exciting to me. And I'll just never forget that thrill of digging through the W's. This one's still in shrink wrap too, so excellent condition. And I think it cost a little bit under $20, so it wasn't expensive either. This is one that I wanted, again, from 1989, a time when cassettes were selling, CDs were selling, and vinyl was on the decline. But here is Warrant's Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinkin' Rich. And I love this album so much, and I wanted it so badly that I found one copy of it, and it was not in good condition at all. If it had been any other album, I would have passed on it. But because I had been looking for it for so long, and it was a really good price, I went ahead and bought it. Turned out it wasn't a bad copy, but again, when I was in Indianapolis, when I found Recycler, I also found this album. And this one was in beautiful condition. So I am so happy to find that in the wild. It's a lot of fun when you find something like that, just an absolute thrill. Now I'll show you some more records. This one is another one that is tough to find by Kiss. This is a German press of Kiss Killers. This is not an easy one. It's not one of their basic studio albums. It is something a little special, and very happy to have this one for the collection. This is one that we probably all see a lot, and a lot of you probably don't even care about. But for me, I'm a huge fan. I really love their music. And their music is so quiet and relaxing that you have to have a very good press. And I was like this close to just going ahead and ordering a reissue of it, but I always wanted to find it. And sure enough, when I was at our Consumers Mall the other day for $2.50, I ran into this copy. It is Bookends by Simon and Garfunkel. And I didn't have this one. It was one I really wanted, and it is in very good condition. It's an early press of it. Let me show you. It's on that 2i Columbia label as well. It plays beautifully, and a lot of times when I run into this one to find an original or an early copy, they're in bad shape. They're just pretty beat. So I've always really held out and wanted to have this one in beautiful shape. You have to have Simon and Garfunkel albums, have to be in good shape. Otherwise, you're just going to hear so many pops and clicks, it's going to detract from the music. And this is a really good album of theirs. So very happy to have that. And now here's the grand finale. These are the records that I have spent the most time looking for and absolutely thrilled to find. You know, these took the most time, the most patience. I did not find these on Discogs. I found them out in the wild. Before I show you the ones I'm talking about, let me show you one that I found that it really struck me because it's actually more rare than the ones I was looking for. So this is it. This is a promotional copy of the Anthology 2 by the Beatles. This is just a sampler of what is on Anthology 2. And I thought that was a really cool find, but I thought it was really unusual that I would find a promotional copy of a record before I would find the actual record. And I love the cool Apple label that they created for it. So that one was a really neat find. Anytime you see something by the Beatles and it's a promotional copy, that's a good day. And that leads right into the records I'm going to show. This is an original Beatles Anthology 1. I believe these came out back in 1994, but please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not 100% sure when the records came out, but I love this. This is their early music. It's got a really cool song on there called Leave My Kitten Alone. It's a very cool song, and I don't believe it made it onto any of the albums, which is a real shame because it's a great song by them. But you're also getting All My Loving, Twist and Shout, I Want to Hold Your Hand, all of the early outtakes and songs. So this is just really a wonderful one. It also features the song Free as a Bird that came out when the anthologies came out. They took a tape that John Lennon had wrote a song and sang onto a tape, and they made a beautiful song out of it with the help of Jeff Lynne. So that's just really a great one to have. Here is the vinyl for it, the label. And there's 3 LPs, but I'll just show one of them because they all have the same label. But that one was a thrill to find. I found that one still sealed in Louisville, Kentucky. And this one is the Anthology 2, and it has really great music on it as well. The song Real Love that they also created for the anthologies is featured on this one. It's also got I'm Down, and It's Only Love, I Feel Fine, Ticket to Ride, Yesterday, Help. I mean, there's 3 LPs. It's got I Am the Walrus, The Fool on the Hill. These are demos and outtakes, and it's just very interesting to listen to, just great listens. So this is also an original that I found. This one was still sealed as well, so that one was an exciting find for me too. And then finally, here is the Anthology 3, and at some point they reissued these anthologies, and I happened to find one again in Louisville, but at a different store than I found the other 2 at, and it was so exciting to find it. The reissue, I will say, is very well done. I believe the packaging on it is maybe a little bit better. They might have tweaked it a little, but just full of really great songs like Happiness is a Warm Gun, Honey Pie is on here, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Then we also go into I've Got a Feeling, and She Came In Through the Bathroom Window, Dig a Pony. There's also Octopus's Garden, Come Together, I Me Mine, The End. Just another great, great anthology album. And I really cannot recommend these enough if you're a huge Beatles fan. They're just a really great listen for outtakes and just all kinds of different, just interesting listen if you're a Beatles fan. So those were a lot of fun to collect. And these are the records that in my collection were the hardest to find. Please let me know in the comments below the records that you have found that took a long time. I'm just curious to know if there's anything that you had been hunting for and finally found. Please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate your support, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.